And a happy Monday, everybody. Welcome to the Plug Talk Sports Live Show, episode 142. You already know, man. You guys already know. Well, Jonka. Well, you know what? Last weekend in Montreal, you got George Russell on the podium. Congratulations.
We're not going to mention that man on this show today.
You got a podium. Just be happy.
I want Lewis podium. That disrespectful damn, I'm not going to say his name, lost it for me.
Just be happy. No. Well, anyways, yes, Brandon was repping our Florida Panthers. Game 2 right now. It's all tied up, 1-1. We have a 1-0 serious lead. Big Bob, he was our plug of the week. Sergei Bobrovsky, huge shutout, 32 saves, I believe, in Game 1. But anyways, it's Monday night. It's our favorite night of the week, probably our only night where we won't have rain in Florida because it's about to pour for real this entire week. Anyways, let's do bad news. Jonka, hit me with your bad news.
Bad news. Jeez. I don't know. I mean, I don't really have any bad news. I've had a pretty good week.
Bro, Brandon, why is it like this guy every week? He's like, yeah, I've had a pretty good week.
Hey, he's been blessed. Hey. Every single week this month.
I gotta have something bad, man. Like, jeez.
It would be interesting.
Something interesting. I don't know. I mean,
this guy.
I don't know.
Adversity in life at all.
I mean, I don't know about that, but I just haven't had anything bad happen. I guess it would just be, Mercedes or George Russell choking it in the race yesterday. So,
hey, who faced more adversity, Jonka or the Boston Celtics?
Time will tell.
I got bags under my eyes because I can't sleep.
Brandon?
For me, a first, actually. For the first time ever, I'm going to jury duty tomorrow. So,
oh, man.
Yeah, Broward County finally got me. The clerk's court got me. So, unfortunately, doing that. But again, I get paid for it. Can't complain.
Yeah, can't complain. You know what? I complained about it a lot when I got called last year. And I was like, man, I don't want to do this. I'm wasting my time. I'm not going to lie to you. Pretty interesting.
Really? I'm just hoping it's not like a crazy. I'm hoping it's like a real estate issue. Like this guy's fence was over my line. I'm hoping it's something stupid.
Unfortunately, Brandon, when I went to jury duty, I got called to federal jury duty. So this is some top of the line stuff. And I got called some guy murdered somebody. So yeah. Thankfully, I was not selected for that one.
Thank goodness. Okay.
But enjoy yourself. You'll have a nice time.
I'll do my best.
For me, I had to get a CT scan today, just because, man, my sinus has been so bad. Feeling better now. I was on antibiotics, but I have a little bit of a deviated septum in my my nose, so my nasal passage is more narrow. So especially when I get a cold, it just flares up and it's really bad. I get really bad face pressure and tension headaches. So the doctor just wanted to see how my sinus looked from last year to this year. And depending on the CT scan, if it's bad, they're going to do a small operation to unclog my sinus. So yeah, I would say that was the bad thing. Just sitting in that waiting room. There's just weird people, man. Like there was this old dude. They literally told him, please take a seat and wait. They call you, man. This guy didn't want to take a seat. First of all, he was complaining. He's like, can I skip the line? They're like, there's other patients. Like, hello? The dude didn't sit down, man. He was just walking around. He was uncomfortably close. And then, like, he was just twisting the bathroom door handle like 10 times. Yeah. It was just, I hate going to those things, man. Good. Let's get into good. Jonka.
Good. It's I guess it would have to be. Shout out. You guys know, my diet right now. I lost 8 pounds this past week.
Let's go.
The boy is almost at the 240s. So I've lost like that would make if after this week, hopefully I'd be over 50 lost. And anything else? I guess it would have to be. I recommend watching Kaiju number 8. It's taking the world by storm. I've told everybody I know to watch it, and they've come back to me and they said it is absolute gas. Go watch it.
Okay. Brandon, what are you? I probably know where this is going, but what are you happy about?
Well, I'm not gonna say exactly what it is because we're gonna jump into it pretty soon.
Yeah.
But what I would say besides that, I did finish up reading a recently. Well, I wouldn't say recent, right? Because this book came out a while ago. But the Coach K book, I finally got around it and finished it.
I've heard about it. Heard great things about it.
Oh yeah, really good stuff there. I mean, very encouraging. Goes over his entire career of 40 plus years. So really good read. So hopefully now I can move on to my next book, which I have 2 already on the shelf. I got to figure out which one I'm going to start first. But Coach K is all done, though. That's the best part.
Okay. I will recommend Pat Riley's book. Very good book. I loved it. And what people don't realize is that they're like, oh, it's just a basketball coach. Like the things that they apply, it can apply to life. So that's the great thing about it. For me, it's actually a book as well. So 2023 started taking health seriously in terms of like eating clean, working out, recovery, started taking recovery seriously, ice bath or an ice plunge, stuff like that, just to get the body right, sleep as well. And I'm actually reading this book right now. It just came out last week. I got my hands on it. It's called Game Plan. If you guys don't know Mike Mancias, Mike Mancias is LeBron's personal trainer and has been with him since 2003, since his career started in the Cleveland Cavaliers. And ever since that, LeBron built a connection with him. And he's been LeBron's trainer throughout his entire career. So far, really liking it. He incorporates and talks about a lot of how he trains with LeBron. And it's just interesting the measures that not only himself, but these athletes go through for recovery and the way that you want to work out and approach every day. And those are things that I love. Like, I love those things. Brandon, I don't know about you, but for me, like, in terms of commentating, I approach it like as if I'm the one that's playing. Like, man, I gotta get my nap in. I gotta get my pregame meal. I gotta make sure I'm hydrated.
Get the gallon of water out by your side.
Yeah, man. Yeah, talking for 2 hours.
Let me tell you, a dehydrated broadcast is terrible. I've been through that. The throat burns suck.
Yep. So you gotta be ready. So you make sure you're hydrated, your nutrition's right. You feel good. You've been working out. So I love it. So that's my my good thing I would say of the week. But anyways, this is now Brandon's time to shine. I'm gonna give him the floor first, but first order of business tonight, it's the NBA Finals, Boston Celtics, Dallas Mavericks, and unfortunately, the Boston Celtics have a 2-0 series lead. Brandon, the floor is yours.
I just think that, I mean, again, I understand where people are coming from of Mavericks in 5, 6, 7, or whatever that was, right? But I also just didn't understand of the idea of exactly what it was that people were missing. Oh, well, it's Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving. How old is Kyrie again? In his 4th NBA Finals? Last time winning it 8 years ago. How big of a competitor has he been through the Western Conference Finals? Not big. So in reality, this is coming to be an NBA Finals that people should have expected. Luka Doncic doing everything that he can against essentially 6 stars because Al Horford started the past 2 series. Celtics up 2-0 in this series. First game. For some reason, I don't know why they did this. Maybe because the Celtics kind of forced Luka to go more inside on the pick and roll. Lively as well as Gafford not inclusive at all in game 1. Luka Doncic goes with a triple-double 30-point game, and they lose by 20 or so, right? Close they even got to, I think it was, besides the first quarter, they had like a 22-9 run, and they were still down like 8. Insane to even think about. Game 2, they kind of readjusted themselves. Gafford more inclusive. And they also put in Green in the lineup more, which I liked actually from their bench. But I mean, this entire series is kind of more of how close can the Dallas Mavericks get, right? Because as crazy as it might sound, this team is so good defensively. And of course, noticeably, because the Mavericks haven't got past 100 points. Celtics are doing isolation ball, and they're living or dying by it. I'm seeing Payne Pritchard not getting any help against Luka Doncic. I'm seeing Jaylen Brown doing the same thing, Tatum. They even got Porzingis on Kyrie, and it's working out fine. It's almost insane just to see that. But again, this is the type of defensive team that we're seeing with the Celtics. And for the people that are, I'm really surprised that they're having, not no issue, but I'm really surprised that they're kind of doing this in stride. Well, I mean, they went against the number one NBA offense in the playoffs in the Indiana Pacers. We're down 18, came back in that game, won 2 clutch games as well. The only 2 times they've lost. And again, in a historic fashion, they're 9 straight wins, the franchise high, 14-2 so far in these NBA playoffs. And the 2 wins that other teams have been able to get against the Celtics, franchise playoff highs, or everybody's shooting above 6% from the floor. No one's doing that besides Luka Doncic. Luka's the only Maverick to shoot multiple 3-point attempts, making them. So honestly, I think, and again, anything can happen in Dallas, but things have to really change for Dallas. It's either that Gaffer gets more inclusive and they bring back the lob passes, only have 2 so far through 2 games, and they all been in game 2. And also, they got to move the ball around. They have to move the ball around. Jason Kidd, I mean, he's not saying he's a bad coach. He's got to the finals for a reason, but there's just no way that he's going to be able to beat out Joe Mazzulla. This is no way.
Jonka, you want to go or do you want me to go?
You can go. It's fine.
Something that is pissing me off is the Dallas Mavericks not taking care of the basketball. They're not taking care of it. I mean, even Luka Doncic, like last night, like, bro, what are you doing? Like all these behind the back passes, and then he's losing the basketball. And he wants to dribble behind his back, and he loses the basketball to Jaylen Brown. Like, this is the finals, man. It's time to wake up.
Hey, but what do they say about the defense though? They're doing one-on-one. Luka, I'm telling you right now, if Minnesota was a little bit smart, right, they wouldn't be double teaming all the time, leaving open corner threes.
Yep.
Luka's looking around. He's got no one looking around.
First of all, Brandon, to your point that what pissed you off last year is that guys like Caleb Martin randomly go off, and you're like, "What is this, bro?"
Yep.
What? I can't even say. I can't even rationalize. When did Derek White become Steph Curry?
Bro, I'm telling you right now, 2022. The moment he stepped foot in Boston off that Josh Richardson trade has been like electricity to the Celtics roster. I don't even know how to describe it. I'm telling you, the funny thing about it, I think people always forget about it. There was a legitimate argument of Derek White becoming an all-star for the East. Like, there was an actual argument about that. Second team all defense. And this team, they live or die by the 3. And that game too, I mean, I think the funny thing about it, because I am a little bit sick right now, kind of battling a cold. I passed out, fell asleep in the middle of the second quarter, and I saw the score. I'm like, we won that game? I thought we lost. The Celtics were 1-9 after the first quarter from behind the arc, and probably shot 25 or less percent from 3-point range. Yeah. I looked at the stats after the game. How did the Dallas Mavericks shoot worse than the Boston Celtics? That is the game, and I say this all the time. There's going to be one game where the Celtics shoot horribly, and the other team just takes advantage. That was that game.
Well, we know historically throughout this postseason, Boston hasn't had very good game 2s. And Dallas, they came out strong. They had it there for the taking. They really had it there for the taking. Another thing I want to say, aside from Derek White, for me, I almost just turned off the TV once I saw Peyton Pritchard hit a half-court shot and banked it in. I was like, well, that just explains how this team is functioning in the postseason. Everything just They're shooting into the ocean right now. Everything is shooting. It's going in.
Hey, it's all faith, man. Hey, and actually, speaking of which, Coach Joe Mazzulla with the Boston Celtics this year, 12-0 on Sundays. Devoted Christian Joe Mazzulla. I'm telling you right now, the guy has been. I mean, he's been going. I don't know if you guys been seeing like his media rampage right now through these NBA finals. Man, he is on one, man. He is a psychopath. If I ever seen one. I mean, the guy is like stone cold face every single time, talking about, are we all a villain in someone's eyes? Are we a villain in someone's story? Like, I just love that stuff, man. Like the sound bits and quotes. Like, I don't know if you saw Porzingis' quote the other day, like yesterday, talking about, I would die on the floor to be there for game 3. That was like, I'm telling you right now, put it in the Louvre. Put on a plaque behind my wall here.
Listen, my question is, do you think playing in the Garden has gotten to Kyrie's head? Do you think it's gotten to him? It's affecting him a little bit.
I think it's because I always go back to 2021 when like Kyrie and the Brooklyn Nets that year beat out the Celtics in the first round and he stomps on Lucky's head. Since that moment, Kyrie is 0-12 against the Celtics.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm pretty sure it's more than just TD Garden. I think it's just the city itself. He walks in there, he's like getting bashed around. And of course, TD Garden itself, you know, anybody can win in TD Garden, right? As impressive as people say, oh, Boston's a great. I mean, the last 2 playoff series, I've seen, no, my apologies, 2 playoffs in general, I've seen TD Garden become a road sanctuary for some teams. But for Kyrie specifically, I mean, it's a nightmare at this point. I mean, it's a nightmare. You can't get away from it. You really can't.
Jonka, talk to me about the finals.
Well, besides the Boston Celtics becoming prophets all of a sudden, I'm not going to talk about Luka. I'm not going to talk about the Celtics. There's only one person you could possibly blame for the Dallas Mavericks in this situation. And there's one person. I need to ask both of you before I say what I'm going to say. What's flatter? Kyrie's game or the flat earth? Because, my God, what is wrong with Kyrie? Bro, he is legit the reason they lost that game. Even Brandon was surprised that they even won that game. Bro, I was texting Daniel during the game like, bro, this is the game for Mavericks to lose, bro. Because the Boston Celtics couldn't hit water with a golf ball.
So they caught fire in the third, near the end of the third.
Like, Luka hit 13 in the first, 13 in the second, 26 points at the half. And I'm just wondering, is this guy going to go for, like, a big game and, carry the team to a 1-1 tie? Nah. Kyrie just airballing, and the only points he could possibly score were either free throws, that was abysmal too, but it was wide open little layups that he was able to cross over Porzingis or whoever else it was just to get a wide open layup. The guy couldn't hit anything. He couldn't hit threes the first game. He couldn't hit threes the second game. Kyrie needs to get himself checked spiritually, mentally, physically, whatever you want to call it. He better fix it quick, or else he's going to look like the biggest choke artist in the finals that anyone's ever seen. Besides LeBron James in 2011, but,
I personally think when I see Kyrie Irving get the basketball so far through these first 2 games, my brain immediately just thinks, stop trying to do too much. You're trying to do way too much. Like, chill. Calm the game down. Do what you do, but you're trying way too hard to do, like, impossible things. And that's why I feel when I see Kyrie Irving get the basketball so far through the first 2 games.
That same situation that he's trying to do too much ISO. He's trying to do dribble, crossover, spin around, ding, ding, ding. And then all of a sudden, there's 7 seconds left. And all of a sudden, he passes the ball. And now all of a sudden, the offense has to create a play in 6 seconds. So
exactly.
now,
and again,
they're scrambling, and then they can't do anything. That's where the offense goes. Jason Kidd needs to fix that, and he needs to tell Kyrie to man the hell up. I wasn't going to say the other word, but he needs to fix his crap, because this is abysmal.
It is, and that's what I was saying before, though. I mean, the Celtics are living with the isolation play, as crazy as it may sound. And also, one thing I want to make sure we keep notice of, because I know a lot of people are saying that Jason Tatum is having a sluggish NBA Finals so far, scoring wise, right? But what about the playmaking, Jason Tatum? That was something that we were missing from 2022 with the Celtics, where Jason Tatum is like moving the ball around, being unselfish. The man almost has a triple double, and mind you, this is all on a night where, comments from before. Oh, I think Jaylen Brown's the best player on the Celtics. I think, and they're all media narrative of, oh, Jaylen Brown the best. How does Tatum feel like this? How does Drew Holiday feel like this? Like Tatum, from my understanding of it, from his career, at 27 years old, to just be like, oh, I'm not gonna sacrifice the team just to make sure my ego gets built up or anything like that. Tatum's playmaking really just might be more effective than Kyrie Irving has been so far.
So would you say so far through the first two games, would you say Tatum is the NBA Finals MVP?
I would probably say, it is very tricky because the first game, obviously, you have to give it to Porzingis coming off the bench off an injury.
Yeah.
Right? But Drew Holiday, though, I think that Drew Holiday's influence on this roster, especially defensively, like you look at Derek White and Drew Holiday, they're like animals on the backcourt defensively. And I think Drew is a big part of that composed teammate factor where like you need a guy that's been there, done that before. So I think Tatum, he's had, 2 games where it's, he's doing the best he can with the ball, excluding of shooting. I would say he's second right now. But I do think Drew Holiday's got it, though, at this point, at least. If not Drew, I think there might be a dark horse of Jaylen Brown just because of the highlight reels he's getting. But I think Drew Holiday through 2 games has been phenomenal, though, on both sides of the floor.
I'm in between Drew Holiday and Jaylen Brown through these first 2 games.
I'm right now, despite I think people are living in game 1. People lived in that little moment that Porzingis had where he just making cags, but that little spew doesn't really represent the whole game 1. So I'm giving it to Jaylen Brown because I think without him making those steals and those explosive plays and meaningful points, which demoralized that Dallas team, even though they did try to come back, it was him that basically just like declared it right after that. You know what? Yeah, let me put the batteries on right now. Boom, and they were able to take the lead back. I think Jaylen Brown right now is the Finals MVP, and it's not even close. And honestly,
not even close.
But I have a question for you.
That's bold.
I have a question for you, Brandon.
Okay.
From what we're seeing from Jaylen Brown right now, how he's leading the team in the points, physicality, he's making plays, he's hustling. I don't see how the Boston Celtics could possibly pay Jason Tatum more than Jaylen Brown. From what we've seen in the 2 finals that they've played, Jaylen Brown has been the best player.
Yeah. I think that when you look at like financially their situation, it's very interesting because Drew Holiday will be on another year for the contract. Derek White and Porzingis, but at the end of the day, it's JT. No matter if it's the Celtics or not, he's gonna get paid more than $300 million. I mean, there's no. I mean, again, either you like it or not. I don't like it because again, I don't like seeing players getting paid basically like what 1/5 or whatever of $1 billion or some crap. And then you have the Boston Celtics in a situation where you have 2 players being paid more than $500 million of $600 million, if not north of that. I think that I don't know if Tatum deserves it. I can't answer that. But what I would say, I know it's going to happen, whether I like it or not.
I can, like depending on what they want to do with their money, it's not me to say, but I think for chemistry's sake, I know Jaylen Brown has a little bit more of an ego than Jason does. With Jaylen Brown, with his numbers, having better numbers in the finals and in the playoffs than Jason does, if they were to pay Jason Tatum more money than he is, I think there might be a problem. Chemistry-wise between them two. Like, Jaylen Brown might say, how could you possibly pay him more than me when I'm the one that's basically carrying the team and he's basically just being a facilitator and being like not aggressive and he's not. Where's that mama mentality that he's always talking about with Kobe? Like he doesn't have it. Like I'm the one that's carrying the team. So how do you possibly pay him more than me? So that can cause some kind of problems later. And I'm just that's how I'm putting it out there.
I mean, I don't know if I'll say one thing about that though. From what I've seen so far, I haven't seen any I'm better than this guy, I'm better than that guy, or whatever like that from Brown and Tatum's relationship. But what I would say though is that if they win the finals, I don't think anybody would care about numbers on that roster.
I agree with that. I agree with that.
Yeah. But I don't think they would care about the money, but just who gets more money might cause some issues based on how they performed in the finals in the playoffs. So
yeah, no, I can definitely see that. I'm just more curious about if they do. When again, they probably will pay Tatum that amount. Like what happens to the rest of the roster though? That's my biggest concern about Boston.
Yeah, I can see what you mean. Yeah,
I personally think if they win the chip, I don't think next year that will be a conversation that will be talked about. It will be talking about how are we going to defend this title. I think the year after is when the conversation will come up about the contracts and all right, who's getting paid more and stuff like that, and productivity. If they don't win the finals this year, which the way things are going,
again, you never know. You never know, right? I'm not gonna jinx. I'm not gonna put anything in the air yet, but
if they don't win the finals, I think it will be a conversation that will happen in the offseason for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't think if they win, I don't think there'll be a conversation that will be had this upcoming year. I will say, Game 3 is huge.
it's huge
For Wednesday. I think it's huge. If Dallas does not come up with this win, it's a sweep. Boston Celtics are sweeping. That's my opinion.
Yeah. I think the only way that the Mavericks do win that game is if, as I said before,
Kyrie.
the front court's got to be involved. Lively and Gafford have just been waiting on the sidelines doing Lord knows what, waiting for a ball to hit the air back of the rim. So they got to be involved.
Especially PJ and DJJ.
Yeah.
They got to hit their shots. My God, they've been abysmal.
No, yeah, I mean, they can keep shooting if they want to, though. I'm not complaining.
You're not. We're complaining. We're like, please hit your shot.
Oh, yeah.
But anyways, let's move on to the next second order of business of the night, the Stanley Cup Finals. We're back in the Stanley Cup Finals, and when I say we, I say the Florida Panthers. Games.
Let's go!
Okay. What is going on?
We're up.
Okay, I just saw it. Okay. For a second, I thought David Beckham showed up at your house.
No, it has to be either like Sydney Sweeney or Livy Dunn or something.
All right. So, as you can tell
What
from
a way to start a segment, baby!
I know. That's hell of a timing.
Hey, that's being clipped. That is being clipped for sure and being posted on Instagram for sure. So if you guys don't know, Stanley Cup Finals, we're starting this segment, and as soon as we start the segment, we're in Game 2, Florida Panthers, Edmonton Oilers. The Panthers score. They're now up 2-1 in the third and final period. They're looking to take a 2-0 series lead heading up to Edmonton, which, by the way, this is the furthest distance between two teams ever in the Stanley Cup Finals. And let me tell you, boys, this is the year. I'm feeling it. The Panthers are playing so good, and there's no deficit that you see this team, and you're like, oh, they can't overcome it. They're looking like the Real Madrid of hockey right now, always scoring in the last minute and always tying the game up. They're looking great. And right now, the Oilers, through Game 1 and through Game 2, they got that goal here in Game 2. But they're looking like they got no energy out there or any sort of good positive body language. I think the Panthers are looking good to take their first ever Stanley Cup in franchise history.
Oh, yeah. I'm telling you, the Cardiac Cats, man, they're back, man. I mean, as funny as it may sound, man, the state of Florida has owned the NHL for the past 5 years between us and the Tampa Bay Lightning. I kid you not. If you told anybody about this in Canada, again, a country that hasn't seen a Stanley Cup lifted in the past 30-some years, they will lose their mind. Absolutely lose their mind. But we're just going around these guys, as Paul Maurice would probably say, Ecky's buzzing. The boys are absolutely buzzing right now on the boards. Bob looks insane. And only one mistake. But the defense has been the biggest part of this run so far. I mean, tonight's game, what is it? 10 shots on goal for the Oilers?
Yep.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. That's unheard of.
Yeah, and game one was crazy. The amount of shots the Oilers had on goal in game one, and they still couldn't get a goal, that just tells you everything you need to know about Sergei Bobrovsky.
I'm telling you, man, he's right there. He's right there, man. I mean, honestly, if there was like MVP of any of this, it had to go to Bob for me.
And I agree with Janka. They've been every single series. They've been downplaying Bob. Every single series. And he has shown up, and he's proven everyone wrong.
Daniel, what did I tell you last week, bro? What did I tell you last week, bro? Ellos no pueden con nosotros hacer it. They can't. They can't. Los gatos no saben nada con los Oilers. ¿Quién carajo Oilers, buddy? Listen, I told you. We're going to kick that ass. I told you. I told you it was going to be there 4 or 5. 4 or 5. They can't do anything. These Canadians, bro, all they're eating is maple syrup. I can't tell you, bro. Let them stay up there, bro.
Wait, I don't know, bro. Last time I checked, you were pretty excited to go try Tim Hortons.
Hey, low-key, I love coffee, so I got to try that Tim Hortons, bro. Not going to lie.
We're telling everybody right now, my birthday is next month.
Mm-hmm.
And Janka and I here, we're taking a trip north of the border to Canada, to Toronto. And right there is the NHL Hall of Fame Museum, which we plan to go to. And there is the Stanley Cup where you can take a picture of. And if we get this done, which I feel confident, I promise you, and it is going to be posted on Plug Talk, Jonathan and I will wear our Florida Panthers championship merchandise next to that Stanley Cup in Canadian territory, and it's going to happen. That photo will happen. You heard it here first.
Yep. You're going to see me up there, buddy. You're going to see me with some explicit, with the blurs right there. Blur it up.
Well, hold up. I'm not trying to get kicked out of the museum, so make sure you do that. Make sure that we do it like after we saw everything in the museum.
I'll edit out in Photoshop and everything.
Okay, because I don't want to get a call. Hey, Mr. Torres, we need you to get on a plane and head back down south. Little buddy of yours doing something explicit in a hockey museum. So let's relax now. Let's enjoy what should be a championship. And let me tell you, we've already made plans. Jonka and I are going to ride in the car together all the way up to Sunrise. We're going to meet our boy Brandon.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to celebrate in Sawgrass.
Best believe a Broward team will win a national championship in a place where it doesn't even snow. All right? I don't even know what the week will be like after that. I'm telling you right now. The real question is, where will the parade even be at?
That's good question.
Yeah, because, again, Broward team, right? I'm advocating for Fort Lauderdale. It's got to be in Fort Lauderdale. But then again, Panthers started their ever first game in franchise history in Miami, where the Heat play. So
Miami Arena.
Yeah, so either way could work. But hopefully Fort Lauderdale.
I will say, it's gotten better this year. I'm happy to see people congregating at sports grills and bars wearing Panthers jerseys and watching the game and being excited. It's great to see. I was disappointed last year that after we won the Eastern Conference Finals, Jonka went out to the famous Bird Road where we go after we open a can of whoop ass on the Celtics and we celebrate. And we went there last year. Jonka went there last year after we won the Eastern Conference Finals. And Jonka said he saw nothing. So, Miami, if you're listening, if we win the Stanley Cup, we need everybody out there. Bird Road, pots and pans, celebrating the Cats. We need it. It needs to happen.
We need Bird Road, 409th Street, University. We need Hollywood Boulevard. We need Sunrise. We need Sawgrass. The whole state of South Florida. And yes, I said state of South Florida because that's basically what it is. All right. needs to be active. They
We're
need to be
divided.
active.
I have a question.
Go
Well,
ahead.
not really a question. It's a statement. After we celebrate in Sunrise at Sawgrass,
Flanagan's?
we're going to Flanagan's. We're going to Flanagan's.
Almost broke this.
Can we
That's
even get
exactly
in?
what I wanted to hear.
Will we
That's
even
exactly
get in?
what
That's the question.
you said. What?
It would be like a 24-hour wait list.
And
Unless
if
we
anything,
watch
go to one in
Flanagan's.
Hollywood here. The one, honestly, top 3 Flanagans in South Florida. The one in Hollywood here,
Oh,
and
the
I got
new
a
one, right?
ranking.
It's the new one, right?
Yep, the new one. It's a Phoenix one. Basically,
Yeah.
it burned down 5 years ago. It came back up.
It's really nice.
So
Hey, that's kind of like Enriquetas. Enriquetas actually did catch fire.
We did.
did it?
Yeah. It was like 9th grade I was in. It was like a random day.
Jonko, why don't you open Enriquetas and the three of us can enjoy a delicious meal at a late hour after winning the cup? Yeah.
Your boy needs a life.
Well, anyways, if the Panthers switch 2-1 right now, the score, game 2, if the Panthers take this game and take a 2-0 series lead heading to Canada, what do you guys think will happen the rest of the series?
Toletazo.
Yeah. I think because again, we're still talking about the Oilers who got McDavid and Heyman, who's like a sidekick. They're like Batman and Robin for this team. Everyone else is just a citizen. I think that they're at least good enough for one win in Edmonton. I don't think they take both of them. I think Panthers in 5 is a good. And again, I want to see the cup lifted in South Florida. I think Panthers in 5 is a good thing to say.
Okay. I can agree with that. I'm going to agree with Brandon. I say Panthers in 5.
I could see it.
All right. Well, that's going to conclude our Panthers Stanley Cup Finals segment. We're going to talk about Caitlin Clark. She seems to be now popping up in our show every week now due to continued news headlines. She did not get selected by the United States to go play in the Olympics, and I know we chatted about this offline the other day. Brandon was saying something true that this is usually a selection for older WNBA vets. But damn it, it's Caitlin Clark. She's good. Take her. Take her. You want an automatic gold medal? Go show the world the golden goose that is Caitlin Clark. Take her. It doesn't hurt. Take her. What I'm afraid of now is that this is becoming a whole race-based issue, or like we're not taking her because she's white. And I would hate for that to be the problem. I could see it being the problem, but you got to take Caitlin Clark. I don't care what anyone has to say. You got to take Caitlin Clark.
Well, I don't know if it's a race thing though, but what I do know is this. Me personally, there's something I love more than the Boston Celtics when it comes to basketball. It's USA basketball.
Yeah.
If I had to see Caitlin Clark hucking threes from half court while like someone from like Latvia is just like checking up on her, I would lose my mind. I would lose my mind. I think the reason why the WNBA does a lot of things based on veteran status is just because it's like, they've been there, done that internationally. Like a lot of people that are, representing the Olympics on women's basketball side, they're usually, doing FIBA beforehand.
Yeah.
For example, like Cameron Brinks and I forgot Haley's full name.
Haley
the one
Van Lith.
Van Lith. Yeah. Both of them guys, she got selected for the first time ever to represent the United States for their 3-on-3 women's basketball team. And beforehand, they were there for FIBA for USA, representing them. Yep. So a lot of times when it comes to women's basketball, you got to be representing the colors beforehand in some other way in international competition. And I know for, especially for us, where it's like the NBA is such a huge thing when the roster comes out and there usually is that one college player. I think the last college player to make the USA team straight out of college going to the rookie year was like Anthony Davis.
Yeah, I
forgot what
remember
year.
that.
What is it, 2014? Something like that, 2016.
Love that
so
year.
I'm telling you right now, as good as Caitlin is, she's got to worry about the WNBA. She's going to live fine, happily. But the next 4 years, though, and especially with this rookie class coming in with the WNBA, becoming veterans with like 3 years seasoned in the WNBA, it'll be a good roster for the USA. I can't wait for that one. But this year, though, I mean, it's still a packed out crowd. Plumlee's in there. And, of course, you also have I forgot her name.
Who?
I forgot her name. But either way, we're expected to win another gold medal. You don't even have to worry about what's on the back of the jersey. As long as we win another gold medal, which we should for Team USA, we all should be perfectly fine.
What's your take, Jonka? Caitlin Clark now being selected.
It's, to me, I don't understand why she wasn't selected, because when she has millions, and I'm not going to say just old millions, like new millions of followers that want to watch the WNBA now because of her, she brings money, she brings popularity, she brings viewership to women's basketball that you didn't have before. The first pick of the WNBA draft, the leading college points in basketball, and somehow, some way, you don't include her in the on the Olympics team, and she's averaging better stats than the majority of the entire team that they actually invited to go play. So you tell me how she wasn't selected. I don't know. I don't know. Because what more do you not want? If you
Do you
want
think that there's another reason behind it?
if you want the product, which is aka the WNBA, to continue to flourish finally, because you guys, they haven't been anything to rave about these past years before Kaden Clark even arrived. It's not Angel Reese, it's not Cameron Brink, it's Kaden Clark. She's averaging like almost 17K attendance every game. I think one of the games had to be moved to an actual NBA
Washington.
arena, yeah, to go and watch her. Like, name me another person that has done that for the WNBA. I've never seen it. You could tell me, I'll be here all day. I don't understand why they're being this stupid, business wise and marketing wise. Because if she brings you that much viewership and money, wouldn't you want that for your team to go watch it? Now, technically, this is like a flip side to it. Since she's not there, you're not getting those extra eyeballs on. So it's like, oh, you know what, Caitlin Clark said, I'm not gonna watch that now. Like, based on everything that those players have done to her during this so far this season, why would me personally, or maybe you guys, depending on what you decide to do, would want to watch the WNBA women's national team if Cece's not there? If Cece's not there, why would I want to watch? Angel Reese is not playing. Cameron Brink is not there. I mean, besides Sabrina, I don't really want to watch anybody else. And I don't even know if she's going to get that much playing time because of all the veterans.
I'll watch Kelsey.
Yeah, I'm telling you, it's still a good roster though. There's a lot of watch on the court.
I'm not denying that they're probably gonna win the gold, but I'll tell you this right now: they're gonna look really bad if they don't win the gold.
No, yeah, true. No, it'll be a whole.
It's gonna be an interesting conversation if they don't win that gold.
Anytime United States basketball, men's or women's, doesn't win the gold, it's a problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, but especially with, I mean, the NBA is, those are NBA players. We understand that. But the WNBA that is having a problem for the past like half century that they've been like on whatever how long they've been awakened. They have not been able to get any like recognition or any respect, and yet all of a sudden you have this player that is giving it to you and bringing more viewership to your organization. Why do you not include her in that? Especially when she's outplaying half of your roster that you invited. It doesn't make sense. It's either, I'm telling you, like Daniel said in the beginning, this is either a race thing or a hate crime, because I don't understand at this point. I'm not saying
it's not that. It's not that. Look, what I would say, I'm just gonna
before you go. ESPN came out with a ranking for Rookie of the Year. They put Caitlin Clark at 6, Cameron Brink at 1, Angel Reese at 2, and yet Caitlin Clark has better stats than the top 5 that are above her. Make sense?
She has like, bro, it's like she has 30 points one night, then 3 points the next. Like,
nah, relax.
No, I'm just saying. The Fever are like, I don't know where they are, but they're bottom of the rankings.
She's averaging 16.8. That's above everybody else, even the top 2 that I just mentioned, Angel Reese and Cameron Brink.
Yeah, but I think, again, as I mentioned before, I think it's, again, not a race, nothing like that, no social issue, or it is anything stat issue, right? It's definitely has to be, again, that veteran status. And also at the same time, like, Team USA is not like an organization or a franchise, right? Like, they don't need the eyes. It's Team USA. Like, people from other countries.
The Olympics, regardless.
Exactly, the Olympics. So, like, they're going to have eyes regardless on them, NBC contract and everything. But also, I would say this as well, because, again, that's this narrative now makes it big for both now women's and men's basketball for the United States to win. Because not only do you have a men's team that didn't get any medals at all during the World Cup for basketball, where they came fourth after a loss against Canada, now you got the women's team needing the win now. So this is like, I mean, this my eyes might be glued to the TV. Joel Embiid's going to be joining the United States.
Yep.
Women's basketball has something to show and prove for. This is going to be poetic, like art. Kid you not.
No, yeah, the men's national team, after what that guy said, I forgot his name, last year or 2 years ago.
Oh, yeah, the U.S. track star?
Yeah. I think he just woke up a monster. It's not going to be close.
We got LeBron James coming back, man. I'm telling you.
Steph, KD, Embiid.
Isn't KD going too?
Yep.
Yeah. I think Jason Tatum, bro. Buddy.
It's ridiculous, man. I'm telling you. It's ridiculous. We even got guys who aren't even born here. And speaking of which, of Joel Embiid, shout out to Gainesville, Florida, his original home when he first came to the States.
Okay. All right. Anyways, let's talk about the NFL has security concerns in Brazil. And yes, Brazil. They are playing a game in Brazil this upcoming year between the Green Bay Packers and the Philadelphia Eagles. And the security concern is that neither team can wear green because of specific gangs in Brazil. Listen.
It's the stupidest thing ever.
No, hold up. I'm trying to think that they picked two teams where green is a very important color to those teams. So, what exactly are these teams going to wear? Can't both be wearing white. I mean, one of them can, but what will the other team wear?
I mean, not even that for Philadelphia. Like, the lining on the helmet is green.
Yeah.
The Green Bay Packers, it's literally in the name. Like, the city that they represent, Green Bay Packers, is green on the helmet too. You know what I think is going to happen? I think that Roger Goodell is going to be like, oh, man, you're probably right, and he's going to cancel it. I think that stadium? Yeah, I think they should have done more research instead of just throwing international games here and there like they do with London. Maybe like pay attention to soccer lore, or pay attention to Brazil lore maybe. But, man, maybe we have a full-blown – I mean, it just might as well just have chess colors. Like one team wears black, one team wears white. Just make it like a chessboard. Might as well. And the fans, make sure they're not even like Eagle fans. There'll be no Eagle fans there. No Packer fans. I'm telling you, it'll just be random people they got from the street. Just, here, get this shirt on. White. It'll be a white-out game.
Let's be honest. The majority of people that are going to go to this game are going to be people that are not from Brazil. I'm not trying to say anything bad, but we know that Brazil has a high poverty rate. With the ticket prices that the NFL charges for you to get into an NFL game, and that's even here in the States, it's not going to be Brazilians filling up that stadium.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just want to know what was the group that even said, like, yeah, American football in Brazil sounds like a good idea. Because, like, I get Mexico because they have their own league there. I get London because London's like, I mean, they love anything that has the word football in it, right? Scored again. But I'm telling you right now, I bet you they just saw Brazil and said, they got a stadium open. Let's go crazy.
Oh, they have a bunch of stadiums they haven't used after the 2014 World Cup.
I mean, what's next? Qatar? Qatar's the next NFL site?
Oh my!
That would be
And you know what? You mentioned these countries like they haven't done Canada, and they have a Canadian football league.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, because again, growing the game, that's like the purpose of it. I don't know if you need to grow the game in Canada. If anything, the place they should be going to, actually, in my honest opinion, would be like Ireland, right? They have like, I don't know if it's like every single year, something like that, but recently they've been having a lot of college football games starting week 0.
When Notre Dame played over there, the atmosphere was absolutely wild.
It was crazy. It was electric. So if the NFL did that, and I'm telling you, it would be easy for them to integrate. Very easy.
And I mean this in a great way, but knowing Irish people, they're down for any reason. They can go out and drink.
Listen, I don't know why they decided to do this game. I think it's especially that it's a really good matchup between two NFC teams that are contenders and have really good teams. I don't know why they would put that matchup outside of the US. Like it's the stupidest thing, and especially with the color situation, like you could have given like I don't know what team, I don't know, the Panthers versus Buccaneers for that matchup or some BS.
Yeah.
Like why does it have to be a really good team matchup for a Sao Paulo Brazil matchup? It's the stupidest thing. This is what I'm talking about with the NFL, bro. The NFL, I feel like they hire idiots. First is the hip drop tackle gets implemented, and you cannot do that. You cannot do that anymore. All of a sudden, watch now. You can't touch people above the head. You can't touch people above the elbow. And you can't, like, at some point, it's not even going to be tackle football anymore. They're just ruining the. Watch all of a sudden, there's going to be records broken in the next couple of years because you can't do anything. But besides that, like, I think they're just being completely stupid with this with this Brazil situation. Like, just send it to a neutral city in the I don't know, wherever it could be anywhere. It doesn't matter. But like, quit the BS, bro. Like, give us some new cities.
Yeah.
Like, in actual cities, you know that if like it's not, sorry, Brazil, majority poverty, but like I would like to see one like maybe I don't know, China, Japan, I don't know, somewhere in Africa. I don't know.
No, go to Australia.
Yeah, Australia. Like,
Africa?
Yeah.
Yeah, like some places unique that you know they would say, oh, you know what, this is what the U.S. like is the most famous sport in the U.S. Like, let's see what they're about. Let's see what this is about. Maybe people get entertained and they'll like start to watch it. It's expanding the viewership for the people. Like, stop it already. Like, we get it.
All right. Final topic of the night. It's Conor McGregor time. His main event coming up, UFC 303 later this month. It's brought a whole lot of speculation and rumors. Last Monday was supposed to be him and Michael Chandler's press conference for this fight in Dublin, Ireland, and just 12 hours before the press conference, it was canceled, which set into a whole whirlwind of, is Conor dropping out? Is Conor getting out of this fight? Is Conor hurt? Is this fight not happening? Because there was a lot of things that were pointing towards that. ESPN stopped advertising selling pay-per-view on the app for that fight. You couldn't find McGregor and Chandler anywhere. But then, Conor comes out with a statement on Twitter or X saying that, due to circumstances out of their control, they had to cancel it. And he is looking forward to the greatest show in the octagon. Since then, it was a couple days after. We hadn't heard from Conor. We hadn't heard from Chandler. Chandler actually, and this was where people started to get freaked out, Chandler actually went home to Nashville and posted, and people were like, this guy left camp in Florida to go home. Like, this fight is definitely off. Talks started talking about who's going to be the replacement of Conor to fight Michael Chandler. Is it going to be Max Holloway? But since then, T-Mobile Arena Las Vegas has started advertising McGregor and Chandler. UFC once again has started advertising it, and ESPN started advertising again. So far, looks like the fight's still a go.
Yeah, I think that from that fight itself, I mean, again, Conor McGregor, big name, right? Everyone wants to see him, get back into the octagon, get back to the UFC things. Man, I think that honestly, from the fight itself, I think that it's got to be one of those things. If you're the UFC, you got to be better publicly with that. Make a quick PR decision. If you know this fight's going to be like, not the fight of like the year, nothing like that.
But people are looking forward to it.
But people looking forward to like a huge margin of like, people investing into this thing. You got to come out with a statement like, hey, guys, we're just going back from camp. Nothing crazy. We understand there's been a lot of rumors, this and that. We want to assure you that there will be a fight at a blank date or whatever. Press conference move blank. Like, they got to do better. They had to be faster.
Okay. Janka?
No, basically, I agree with everything Brandon said, and it's just kind of like unorganized, kind of just thrown together kind of fight, and then especially with how Conor basically has, I don't know,
led people on and fights.
Yeah, like
fight, and then it doesn't happen.
Like retirement, out of retirement. I don't know. Has he been in and out of retirement just as much as Tom Brady has? I don't know.
It's almost like Kanye when he says he's dropping an album on a certain date. It never happens.
Same thing. Like quit leading us on. If you need to extend the day of the fight and change the date or whatever, like we don't really care. We're gonna watch the fight anyways. I don't know what they're trying. I don't know what kind of game they're trying to play. I don't know. Like I don't understand what's the problem. But if they're not releasing information, it's because either there's an injury and they don't want to say it, so they don't hinder the pay-per-view purchases, or they're just being quiet just so that they could just save their asses.
Well, Conor posted late last week a whole barrage of video and pictures of him in training camp. So again, as of now, the fight's still on. The fight's still on for later this month. But I agree with Brandon. I think if you got a lot of people, look, when you talk Conor McGregor, you talk box office.
Yeah.
People are going to want to go internationally. People are going to want to go to Las Vegas, buy tickets to see this thing, and people are going to buy pay-per-views as well. Like, I would hate to be that. I'm personally going to watch the fight. I haven't bought my pay-per-view yet. I'm going to wait till the last minute because you never know. But I would hate to buy the pay-per-view, be someone who bought the pay-per-view already, and then like, oh, Conor or Michael's not fighting anymore. Like, because you look at the rest of that card for UFC 303, it's not good. Like, basically, it's Conor and Michael Chandler that's making up the whole card, why people are going to watch it. So I would hate to be one of those people that invested money on getting a ticket or a flight, hotel, or even bought the pay-per-view for you to not be clear with the fans that, hey, this fight may be changing to a later day or one of the fighters dropped out. So I agree totally with Brandon on that notion. You boys have anything else you wanted to add, or that's it?
Well, for Conor McGregor, again, as I always mentioned before, right? Maybe retirement is coming soon after the fight.
If he loses, yes.
If he loses, I'm praying that it finally happens because we don't have a Jorge Masvidal fight on pay-per-view yet. And we got Conor McGregor coming back in Ireland. Again, this is a good send-off if it is one. So I'm hoping he does retire. And again, PR's got to do better. A better public relations job from the UFC. I'm hoping Dana White steps up from that.
Yeah.
Well, anyways, guys, that's going to do it for us tonight on Plug Talk Sports. Go Panthers. We'll see how the rest of this series plays out. Hopefully, we'll have great news next Monday. But again, thank you for tuning in week out, watching the show. Stay tuned to all of our social media, and we'll see you guys next week for a brand new episode. Have a great night.
Support the troops.